Hey everyone, Anthony here, PG2 Podcast. I've actually tried doing this video quite a few times and I kept getting interrupted, but I wanted to give a spoiler review on Wonder Woman 84. Now, when this movie came out, so there's going to be spoilers here on out. This movie came out, just the trailer alone, I must have watched it with my kids, and even my wife wanted to see this movie. I personally watched it probably 20 times, and my kids probably watched the trailer, I think with the Blue Monday song or whatnot, it's like 15 times. Like, we were looking forward to seeing this movie, and it was being released directly to HBO Max. We were like, let's get HBO Max, plus the Snyder Cut. So we were like so like excited, and we're going to watch this together on Christmas, and it's going to be an extra gift. Like, wow, we can't wait to see this movie. And it was just a massive letdown. Massive. As being I'm not the biggest DC Comics fanatic. I do love DC Comics. I do not know all of them. What I meant to say. I am also not a massive knowledgeable Marvel, but I have read lots of Marvel comics. So and some independent indie comics I'm very much into. So when I reading the comics, and then from the DCEU universe they have going on right now, WB has no clue whatsoever what direction they're fucking going in. Nothing. They have no clue whatsoever. And I think with this movie, they wrote it as they went along. There's no way you could put out this size of a piece of shit blockbuster crap of a movie and have the plot and everything that they had in it and think that it was good. It's for a top echelon of blockbuster DC characters. This, I can't imagine Patty Jenkins or Jeff Johns saying, yes, this is a great fucking movie. Let's release it and it's going to be a blockbuster. Or the people that were around them. I always want to know what goes on in the background. Like, I went to college for a year for TV film, but I went to Rutgers and graduated from there. But I never finished that. I did make, Kevin Smith, I'm from Jersey, kind of inspired me to make movies when I was younger. So I liked the fact of making movies. I asked for a camcorder when I was like 10 years old and made little dinky cartoon movies and stuff. But how did they not have... It was hard enough for me to get like a plot together, and it was just us and my friends. For them to put this WW84 out and think it was good. And you may hear me jump around a lot, but that's how shitty the movie is. And for me, as being a big DC fan, I cannot wrap my head around how there's DC people out there that think this movie's fucking great and put it up there in their top like 5 DC movies of all time. That shit is mind-blowing to me. That is like cult type of thinking for some reason. You won't see that from me. I'm going to call it how it is and how I feel about it, right? And I'm going to talk about the facts in a movie. Not just, I think that was a great idea. Let's just fucking forget that it happened and shit. No, we can't forget that parts of this movie happened. All right? If I was to score it, I've been up in the air about it, man. I watched it twice. At first, I was like maybe a 5 out of 10, and then a 4, and I've dropped it as low as 3 out of 10. That's how bad the movie is. It's horrendous, So, starting off with the movie, they did a scene in Themyscira where Wonder Woman's a child and she's doing the Olympics, and it was really long, but it was done. It was interesting, but I think the fucking graphics looked horrible, man. The CGI wasn't good. It looked good in the trailer, right? And this like 15-minute scene or 10-minute scene goes on just for them to like have a message of nothing great comes out of flying, blah blah blah, like what you saw in that trailer. Then it skips to Wonder Woman working in like a gallery museum, and somehow these burglars are robbing this jewelry store in the mall that fronts for illegal artifact trafficking. And within that artifact trafficking is the stone that grants wishes. It's like a monkey paw. You can get the wish, but something's taken from you for getting the wish. And as boring as this sounds, this is the movie. I'm just being honest. Wonder Woman takes out the cameras that already... She shows up to stop the robbers. She takes out the cameras that already got her on film. All right? So this happens in 1984. Where's the continuity when she says in BVS, I've been gone for 100 years? Where, it's so aggravating to me. Like, me and my brother, Billy, discussed this. Like, they could have had, like, a Bruce Wayne cameo or something in that mall, or Thomas Wayne. They give us some kind of connection to the DCEU. They gave us nothing. They don't even mention Snyder, and I'm a massive Snyder fan of where he's going with the movies, because that's something we haven't seen before. You know what we have seen before? Campy bullshit put out by DC and Warner Brothers because they want to do merchandising. That's the whole purpose of why they do that. So to give you a history lesson for people that have not, I'm 39, I'm a little older than some people that may watch this. They had the original Batman, Michael Keaton. Great movie. WB was even scared about it because it was so dark from what the Batman was of the campiness from the TV series. Then you got Batman Returns, and at that point, McDonald's played a massive role on getting pretty much Michael Keaton and Tim Burton out of the picture. Then that's how we ended up with Batman Forever and neon fluorescent light guns. Like, what fucking villain is walking around with a neon fluorescent light gun that says, hey, look at me, I'm the villain? That's what kickstarted shit. And Batman Forever, it's a watchable film. Supposedly they wanted to make it and continue with Tim Burton's vision of being somewhat dark, but then they put the campy shit in. They started sprinkling it in. Then we got Batman and Robin. And that is probably one of the worst fucking movies made, period, let alone comic book wise. And even in the movie, you got Poison Ivy saying that she wants to sell fucking toys to the kids watching of the Bane action figure. I mean, it's so bullshit. The movie sucked. All right? It's just that's where they're going, because I'll tell you why. So they had the mall scene. We'll go back to Wonder Woman, and the only real, there's a few things that I thought I saw that was some kind of reference to DC movies. Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns decides a fucking great idea. Let's reference, what's one of the worst fucking DC movies ever made? Oh, Superman 4. We'll reference Nuclear Man and put his symbol in the middle of the mall scene. That's what we'll do. Now, should we have the Flash show up or anybody? No, fuck them. We're putting Nuclear Man. That's what matters. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So, the mall scene happens, and she beats up the three guys doing campy shit. And, man, it just sucks for Gal, because I love her as Wonder Woman. Where the movie's going, I don't want to pay for another DC film if this is where they're heading. The standalone films have to have some kind of continuity or connection to the other films. You can't pretend that this 1984 shit didn't go down. It happened. To me, from what I'm reading on everything, it looks like Snyder possibly seen the film finally, and he released, and it's my opinion, he released a Wonder Woman photo in the Crim War. What war was it? But it was the original war that they were going to put Wonder Woman 1 in, instead of having her in World War I in that movie. And Wonder Woman is such a damn badass. She has the severed heads in her hand, like that whatever she just killed. And this is from the comic book. It's not like Snyder is making this shit up. There's a good lighthearted side of Wonder Woman, but don't piss her off if you're a bad guy killing people, because she ain't gonna put up with it. And that's what I was looking for, that badass Wonder Woman in this 1984 film. It doesn't happen. So Wonder Woman goes back to work. She runs into Kristen Wiig, who plays eventually Cheetah. I mean, they're throwing in these Cheetah signs everywhere. You know, Wonder Woman's wearing Cheetah high heels. Wonder Woman's got cheetahs in the background of every scene that she has. I mean, Kristen Wiig. And basically, Kristen Wiig, and this is why I was bringing up those other movies, is the Riddler from Batman Forever. She is Jim Carrey. And this movie steals the plots and the characters straight from the shittiest fucking DC movies ever made. They have great actors in this movie doing stupid shit. So, Kristen Wiig shows Diana the rock. That's like some kind of ancient rock that grants the wishes. And I'm trying to just remember all of it, because the important scenes that I can sit here all day and pick apart this it's almost 2 hours and 20 minutes, this damn movie. I think it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. At one point we're watching it, my wife turns to me and says, when's this going to be over? She fucking hated it. And my kids were just bored out of their mind. We just got done watching the Mandalorian season finale, and we were all jumping off the couch for that. And then we get this horse shit of a movie, Wonder Woman 84. So I'm going to cut to the plot points here. Eventually, Max Lord wants that stone back. He hooks up with Kristen Wiig at a party, and he follows her back to her office where the stone is on the desk. He doesn't get it yet. But at some point, while this party's going on, no, at some point right before that, sorry, jumped around, excuse me, Kristen Wiig and Diana was holding it, and Wonder Woman asked if she, had her wish. She was just, they were fooling around with wishes, and her wish was to bring Steve Trevor back. Now, this is a major issue in the movie. So while Wonder Woman's at the party, and Kristen Wiig is at her office, I guess, where she brings Max Lord back, and he takes the stone at this point. Wonder Woman's at the party, and some random guy comes up to her, handsome guy in the credits, and which is hypocritical. I mean, I've seen all of these people talking about like the feminism part of this, and if these roles were reversed. I think if the roles were reversed, and they would just put like handsome girl, beautiful girl or something, and then Superman was having sex with a random stranger girl who might have been in a family or whatnot, and just using her body instead of, it would have been like a big uproar. There's no uproar about this. And Patty Jenkins put out a bullshit statement. Now, this movie made me not like her at this point. She put out a bullshit statement saying that, well, in the movie Big, Tom Hanks, gets big, and there's a sex scene with her and the lady. That's true, and that was weird. But also, Tom Hanks wasn't in somebody else's body during the whole movie doing illegal shit besides the sex scene. Right? Just the whole movie doing that. And then come to the end where it's either Tom Hanks stayed in that body or killed some random dude to stay in that party to please the lady that's in the movie Big. That's not what happened. In Wonder Woman 84, that happened. Like, Wonder Woman wanted to kill an innocent person to keep Steve Trevor in that body so she continues to lose her powers and live with him. Like, that's how crazy this story is. So she's at the party, and then, like I said, Steve Trevor shows up in a random dude's body. So it takes her a minute to realize it's Steve Trevor until she gives him his watch and says what he's left in Wonder Woman 1 with her. So I forgot what happens, but I think she takes him out for the night, and then almost immediately she even says it, I can't believe I'm doing this in somebody else's body, and I'm doing this to you. And she did, And then you have some funny scenes with him getting dressed in the 80s. Some things I've seen other people saying, I agree. Like, Steve Trevor wasn't like not around fireworks and fucking trains and cars and stuff. Like, they made him a garbage can a big deal for him to see. A fucking garbage can. Like, oh my god, it's a garbage can. Like, everything, he was like a fish out of water story, but everything that he saw was like, I never seen that before. You did see that before. Like, everything you fucking seen before. So, yeah, so she gets with him. Meanwhile, Max Lord gets the stone, and he says, you know, he wants to become the stone to grant people wishes. In return, he can take what he wants from them. Decent plot. Okay, cool. Pretty cool villain, maybe. You know, I love Pascal's acting. I think he's great. In the background, in his office, me and my brother Billy were taking a look. I thought I saw Dr. Fate's symbol. I'm not sure. So that's the other that me and my brother saw. That's the other reference to something, possibly. I don't know. It was hard to tell. Other than that, you get basically no other references to any other character. You know, DCU. Nobody talks about anything, and that is one of the major flaws with the DCU and Warner Brothers. Where Marvel is at, I can put in a Marvel movie. My kids could watch it, and they can also watch Guardian of the Galaxies. They could watch Spider-Man. They can watch various different movies and see that they're somehow connected in the same universe. You do not get that feeling from DC movies. And they've done this in the past with Constantine and Green Lantern. They don't connect the damn universes. To the point where everyone right now is like, I can't wait to see this Flashpoint movie, to see the fucking universe finally come together. Other than what Snyder's doing. Snyder has gotten the universe into a good direction. One thing I wish Snyder would have done is just released Martian Manhunter a little earlier so that we can keep continuing to branch out new characters. Because that's the other problem with DC, and I'm just fed up with too, is they keep rebooting the same damn characters every few years. We just had a reboot of Batman. We just got another Batman with Affleck. Now we're getting another Batman with Pattinson. And guess what we're getting with Pattinson? Another fucking Penguin, another Riddler, and another Catwoman. Same characters. Isn't this fucking great? No, it's not. Imagine if every 3 to 5 years they rebooted Iron Man. Like, that's not working. They tried that with the Hulk. They saw that it wasn't working. So then they got this plan. Let's have a direction, which this movie WW84 has none. And these reviews here and audience scores they're high for me. When you're talking about a good audience score, I'm talking, if you're just talking movie-wise, watch something like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, just something that's like out of this world fantastic, done so well. Those are like 9 out of 10 for me. Comic book wise, I'll put the bar a little lower because it's a fantasy film as well, but I'll sit there and say, like, for me, Man of Steel is 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Perfectly done, great freaking movie. BVS is up there too. I don't understand the hatred for the BVS when they were setting up what would happen if I like the storyline. What would happen if a person like Superman existed in a Batman's world and his actions have killed millions of people? What do you do about it? And that Batman did what he had to do. But I just wish they would have. That Justice League Whedon shit really fucked the whole thing up with DC. Because you set them back years. So the Whedon thing came out. It took 3 years to get the Snyder thing to get released. And now, even with the Snyder Cut coming out, it's like we have to wait till March. I'm not sure if it's going to be released every single week. and we're going into April. We're almost halfway done with this year at that point. And then what are we doing next year? You know, it's just, and where Marvel is connecting all the films with the damn TV series. And DC was ahead of the game with that shit, and they fucked it up. Whedon fucked everything up. And I think it really started with WB and Whedon, because I think Snyder released that photo of the severed heads, like I said, because how campy this bullshit movie WW84 is. It has no direction, no continuity, no connection to any other DC film. And I don't want that. Life's short, man. I want to see the characters. I want to see the universe continue. I don't want to see this bullshit. So this having like a D from the tomato-ometer, that's, to me, a fucking true score, man. That it should be lower. It really should. So, to get back, because I can ramble on forever, Max Lord starts granting wishes and taking things back from people. So he's going overseas and meets, like, in Cairo, and the guy wishes for a wall to be put up. A fucking wall the size of the Great Wall of China. Like, that big of a wall. And in return, he gets a security team. Now, during this time, Diana takes... I keep calling her Diana. I'm going to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman takes Steve Trevor to whatever it is, airplane museum or whatever. And there happens to be a fucking newer airplane that's fully gassed, ready to go at the museum. And they get in the museum, and somehow in the lot behind the museum, and somehow he's able to ride this thing and drive it. Work this thing. Just compared to 100, how many years earlier? 80 years earlier, the damn thing, 60 years earlier. This is not the same car type of vehicle. So he's in this flying, and they want to get off the radar. So for the first time, Wonder Woman goes, I've tried this with a coffee cup. I'm going to try it with the airplane. And she causes the plane to go invisible. So that's where we get the invisible jet. And they're flying invisible, and then he's like, what is that? And that's like the cool scene, like the fireworks. At this point in the trailer, to connect that, I thought we were going to get like a Thor Ragnarok type of Wonder Woman movie, and there was going to be all this connections in the DCU, and going to be a fun movie, and just awesome, and her kicking ass. That's not what we got. So when I got to that scene, I was like, man, this is fucking bad. So then they end up in Cairo, and as Max Lord is leaving Cairo with doing the wall, they happen to be driving down the same road. And that's where you get the fight scene where she's in the air and the cars are flipping, and she gets shot because she's starting to lose some of her powers, and she's bleeding. Excuse me. And it's just, there just happens to be like two kids playing in this fucking road in the middle of a desert. Just poorly written bullshit. She saves the kids, gets them out of the way. She even lands on the hood of Max Lord's car, and she can stop him right there. Badass Wonder Woman can stop Max Lord right there. And she's asking him and begging him like a freaking wimp just to stop doing what he's doing. It was horrendous writing. So he continues on, and people were getting killed and dying all over the fucking place because the world's going to shit, and Wonder Woman solely allowed that to happen because she let him get away. Alright? So, on top of that, she's out having a relationship with some guy, and Steve Trevor's in some other guy's body. So, they get back to Cairo, and the movie just stops right there, and all of a sudden they're back in the USA. They're back. And you're like, okay. So, during this time, Kristen Wiig as Cheetah she's not looking like Cheetah, but she wished for the powers of Wonder Woman or Diana, and she's starting to test those powers. So she's beating up guys that are hitting on her and being real asshole douchebags, and she's starting to lose the compassionate part of herself, but gaining these powers. So during this time, the Wonder Woman is like on the computer, and they're trying to really stop Max Lord from granting all these wishes because the world's going to hell. And in the corner is the armor, like the golden eagle armor you've seen in the commercials. And again, a lot of people don't read the comics, so they see that like, whatever. Now this is like the strongest fucking armor that the Amazonians created, and I'll get to that at the end of the movie because it's just torn apart within seconds. Like it was a useless piece of shit toy selling merchandise bullshit put into the movie to sell toys, and that was the only reason, because it'd make a cool poster like we see up there. That's it. Because other than that, the armor means nothing. Right? It's like, imagine Wolverine without his claws. I mean, it's just like, and they just break real quick. Like, why would you even do it? The same thing with this. So Max Lord, in the meantime, gets into the White House to meet the president. And I know I'm skipping a lot here, but it's boring bullshit anyway. So gets in to see the president, and right there just happens to be in the fucking Oval Office is a bunch of shit about satellites and how each satellite could touch a human if they're watching the TV. Ding ding, the fucking Batman Forever Riddler theme. That was the whole plot with the Riddler. So they take that and they take the satellite stuff from Batman and Robin and they commingle it to make this horse shit of a fucking plot for their villain. So Max Lord asks the president, who looks like Reagan, what is your wish? He wishes for, instead of world peace, just to keep the plot going, he fucking wishes for more nuclear bombs. So now all the countries in the world are fucking shooting nuclear bombs at each other. All hell's breaking loose. And Max Lord wants to go find this Riddler machine that connects to all the TVs so he can stand in this little portal and tell everybody what to do and get their wishes and take from them. His health is failing him. During this whole time he goes to do this at this base, Cheetah had wished to be an apex predator, and she just happened to be a cheetah. She could have been anything else in the fucking world, but she happened to be a cheetah. And this is where Wonder Woman leaves, because her powers are getting diminished so much. She leaves Steve Trevor as he's like telling her what to do. Meanwhile, she wants the innocent person to die that Steve Trevor took over his body, and to stay with Steve Trevor and continue to basically, I heard, rape this innocent person's body while Steve Trevor was around. He talked enough sense into her to like not do that, and she takes off to go get Max Lord and leaves Steve Trevor and gets her wish back and gets her powers back. While she's doing that to fly to this Riddler beam that Max Lord is at, she learns that she can fly. Now this has been like a big debate, like, oh, could Wonder Woman fly? I don't mind that she can fly. I think it's awesome in the movies. But why wasn't she fucking flying in BVS? Why wasn't she flying in Justice League? These are all things that massive plot. Why wasn't she creating things when they were breaking in Justice League? Why didn't she just create an invisible fucking plane or car and land into the spaceship to go, to get Superman alive? I mean, these are all questions now, like, that normal comic book readers and fans are going to question, and a normal moviegoer. Shit that my fucking wife was asking my kids. So nothing is connected whatsoever. So imagine, like, Marvel has like the Infinity War saga going on, and an Ant-Man movie's made, but it means fucking nothing, but it's in the world of Marvel, and it destroys all the continuity, and he already had the glove with the stones. It wouldn't make any sense. I want people that are DC fans to understand that logic, because instead of getting in this cult where you think the movie was good, if you think this movie was good, they're going to continue to make bullshit like this, and it's only going to get worse. I lived through it. It's going to fucking get worse. So, as she's flying, at some point, she heads back to her apartment, gets the eagle suit, flies to the base where Max Lord is in this beam, in the Riddler beam, talking to everybody. I keep calling the Riddler beam because it's a fucking ripoff right from Batman Forever. No one liked that plot, and I don't like this shit either. So she shows up. Now, why does she need the armor? It doesn't even tell you. She doesn't even know that Kristen Wiig is Cheetah. So she shows up to the base, and there is Kristen Wiig as a fucking cat, like from the movie Cats. The CGI that they could have done with this face to make it horrific and like a fucking monster of a cheetah, instead makes it the movie Cats. It is a horseshit looking character, man. It's fucking ridiculous. It's really bad. And we need to call this shit out. Because if you're not calling it out, you're accepting that that looked good. And it looked so bad that whoever was making the movie knew it didn't look good and fucking darkened the whole fight scene so you couldn't see it. It is so dark you can't see it. The fucking lighting in my little piece of shit room that I'm working on for these videos is better than the fucking blockbuster movie. So she uses the armor to fight Cheetah, and Cheetah rips it apart like fucking just ripping apart a piece of paper. So the armor was absolutely fucking useless. It should have been never even been in the movie. Ever. So after she electrocutes Cheetah, Wonder Woman runs and gets into the beam area. And it reminds you of this shit. The whole time, I just want to go back real quick, of them breaking into the White House. Steve Trevor's in this fucking guy's body. You don't think the White House and the Pentagon does not have cameras in the fucking 80s, but the mall does? So now this poor schmuck he's on there breaking into the White House. They're gonna find him. Wonder Woman ruined his life. So back to the base thing. She gets in there, and there's Max Lord in the Riddler beam. And she's trying, instead of kicking his ass, he's using wind to fucking beat Wonder Woman. Wind. And she's fighting against the wind. Like, just ridiculous shit. So as she's fighting against the wind, she is so weak from wind that she falls into the corner, and he's in there talking to everybody, getting their wishes, granting their wishes. His health's deteriorating from their shit. And she uses the lasso of truth to wrap around his ankle to talk to the world to please give up all their wishes, renounce their wishes, and everybody in the world has to do this for this to work. And so that the world could go back the way it was. And everyone's still going to have memory of it. Like, they try to bullshit talk this. No, they have memory of it. It's in the fucking movie. So as they're renouncing their nuclear war missiles stuff, the generals are like, Mr. President, the nuclear weapons are just disappearing. They're gone now. So they're remembered that the fucking nuclear weapons existed as the guys were watching the wall come down and everything else. I mean, they want you to think that it doesn't, because now people are asking questions. They just, oh no, they don't remember. Watch the fucking movie. They absolutely remember. All right? So Wonder Woman's talking to everybody through the lasso of truth, through Max Lord, and Max Lord then renounces his own wish and starts screaming for his son's name, which I haven't mentioned yet. His name was Alistair. And he's screaming, Alistair, Alistair. And I think he might have screamed him like 20 times. Now they're in a fucking Navy base or military base on an island. The next scene cuts to him back on land in the middle of the day screaming Alistair still. And here comes this kid running out of the forest. And we never get a closure of what happened to Max Lord. He surely can't just get off from doing all this illegal stuff and murder. People were dying. They were wishing for other people to die. People were dying from this whole thing. Just crazy shit. And Max Lord doesn't get any punishment from it. I don't really think, other than the mall scene and the car scene, Wonder Woman ever hits anybody. Kind of keeping with like a Superman 3 and 4 theme with Christopher Reeve. This is why I was saying that they're going campy. All right, that's why they didn't include the shield and her sword in this movie. They didn't want to do it. So at the very end, I can't think of her name right off the bat. Shit, my bad, man. So you get the movie ending, and Wonder Woman sees the guy who she was like using her body to have sex with and do all this illegal shit come out of the apartment building, and they say bye and they leave. And then there's a end scene credit with the original Wonder Woman, and that's it. So how does that have to do with anything that's currently going on in the Snyderverse, the DCEU, fucking Shazam, the Batman and Superman movies? Where was it? What's the plot and the reason for this movie? It didn't need to exist. And in my opinion, and I tweeted back to Zack Snyder, I was hoping for a response, but little me, I don't know, I'm dreaming. But I think he just released the photo of Wonder Woman with, like I said, with the severed heads, and I think that he saw the movie, this plot bullshit that I just tried to explain in a half an hour, and he said, "No, that's not the Wonder Woman I wrote. This is not it." And he wanted to show what he wrote and what he was bringing to the table, not this campy bubblegum bullshit Wonder Woman. It was horrible. And I don't understand how anybody could like the movie. I really don't. I mean, it is bad. And me and my brother, we talk comics like almost on a daily basis. And we talk DC movies a lot. And we are talking about the movie and how bad it is. Not how good or anything. Just how shitty the movie was. He could not believe it either. He could not believe how bad this movie is. So I would give it like a 3 out of 10. It's, to me, it's really not worth watching. It's not connected to anything. It's not part of the universe in my eyes. It doesn't bring up anything from the universe. There's no tie-ins. They could have had the Flash show up. I mean, they could have done so many cool things. And either Warner Brothers or Patty Jenkins or Jeff Johns want to distance themselves so much from Snyder. That is why the CEO of Warner Brothers right now is saying that the Snyderverse is like a cul-de-sac. They're not listening to the fans. This is what got Star Wars in trouble, and now DC is doing that shit. And nobody wants reboots. And Pattinson's Batman probably do well just because of the Twilight fan base as well. But I don't want a reboot of shit. Like the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, fucking great movie. He could have did a cameo. Something. Just fucking give the fans something. Like the Mandalorian season finale. Luke coming back. Spoiler. But fuck, man. Give us something. And you give us nothing, man. You give us a bullshit story that was already used in Superman 3, Superman 4, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. That's what you gave us. The 4 worst DC movies fucking ever made. That's what you gave us. Highly disappointed. I am like... Because the thing is, as fans, money talks. So we will just stop buying what you're fucking selling. That's what happened to Star Wars. We'll fucking do it here too. We'll support Snyder and his movement that want a fucking good DC universe and continue that route. Could it lighten up a little bit? I was really dissecting this. Yes, it could lighten up a little bit, man. But these are adult films. Like, adults are reading, and teenagers, like late teens, are reading the comics. Go for who's actually reading your stuff. Alright? You don't have to copy off of Marvel. You have an animated series and stuff that could be directed at the kids. I like them too. But they could be directed at kids and get to know do an animated like Spider-Verse for the DC. And leave these movies on what you already built. We've waited too long for this shit for you to release something so bad as WWE 4. We waited way too long to get to where we're at. We put a lot of money, time. The fans are the ones supporting this stuff too. Like, I love watching the movies. I take my time out and I fucking buy them. I'll buy various versions of them. The ultimate version, the regular like heavily invested. I'll buy the comic books. We're the ones supporting the comics. And then you get this bullshit of a story where they took Wonder Woman and made her not a badass warrior, but somebody that's more like a sympathizes with people and is not a warrior, like not a good warrior. And like, I want to see the severed head holding badass Wonder Woman. That's what I want to see. Not fucking campy, can't use sword, can't use shield, get my ass kicked with the fucking eagle outfit, can't do this. Like, she lost so bad in all these movies. She fought Wind from Max Lord. Lost that. She lost against the Wind. Horrible. Where Snyder is bringing realistic shit. Like, this fight scene with Zod and Superman. Like, I was talking to my brother with this. People hate it. Oh, well, Superman, you know, put so many people's lives fighting Zod in the city and whatnot. If a fucking alien like Zod showed up on this planet, he's not going to go fight you in the goddamn sewer system. He's not going to go to a clear mountaintop with nothing. He is going to... He is somebody to be reckoned with. He's going to make sure everyone sees him take down the head dude, Superman, and he's going to destroy as much shit as possible. He's not going to say, oh, wait a minute, there's humans here. Can't do that. Snyder did everything with thought and a lot of thought into it. Where Wonder Woman 84, I think they wrote the script as they went along. They didn't know what to do. And I can't even believe they let the movie get this fucking long. I don't even know how long this movie is. Let's take a look. It was like 2 hours and 20 minutes, I think. This long, and they're giving 2 hours and 31 minutes. And they were giving Justice League shit about being like only 90 minutes. 2 hours and 31 minutes. Oh my god, it is so bad, man. Oh my god, 2 hours. That's why my wife said, man, when's this shit gonna end? It's so bad. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. I wish I had better news. I'll tell you when the movie's good. I'll tell you when it sucks. Wonder Woman 1 was really good. Could it have been better after Zack Snyder released that photo? Yes. But I was really impressed and happy with it. I liked it. I liked how it going to tie into everything else. And it did. You got to see the photo Bruce Wayne was looking for, and like it was really good. I think it was good to tie in. This movie has no tie into anything, and they think that you're a bunch of suckers watching the movie. They think you're just going to say, oh yeah, forget about that. When you watch a movie, really put thought behind it. I actually sometimes try to think, could I fucking one-up one of these directors and find a bunch of flaws in it? And there are so many flaws in this, you'll lose count. Where if you're watching like a Quentin Tarantino movie, you ain't going to fucking find many flaws. You know, it's like, this movie's fucking good. And they're all, he even gives fan service to the Quentinverse, where, you know, his universes are tied together. I love that shit. That's a little, like, throw-in for the fans of his work. Snyder does it, too. That's awesome. Here, we'll give a throwback, like they do it, but to Nuclear Man, Spider-Man 3, Superman 3, and Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. The 4 worst DC films ever made. It will be right up there and be the 5th one. Alright, take care, everyone.